For this video, I wanted to share a tool that I built using Claude myself. And what I want you to understand, if you are a subscriber of this channel, right, it is in your best interest to incorporate all these various different AI tools, not only to your brand, but your business and also your campaign. Like I talk about the importance of your personal brand, your business brand, and your campaign brand every day, every single day. So with that, I want you to also consider what you can do to streamline your efforts, to build tools that can actually empower all the things that you are doing, right? And supercharge all the things that you are looking to do in the future. Because I'm telling you, these AI tools are no joke, right? That's what I'm going to say. But before I even get started, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are interested in seeing more videos, I post videos every single day, every single day, one long form video every single day. So if you look back, I have a whole selection of different content that you can check out. But ultimately, every single video that I do is here to inspire you to take action when it comes down to building your level of brand authority, right? Which is your personal brand multiplied by your business brand, multiplied by your campaign brand, right? You want to build those brands to a point where you are more visible and credible to your desired target audience. And also make sure you check out my Substack below as I post content on there all the time. So let's get into it. Let me share my screen. So in short, I developed a sales tracker because I wanted to keep myself accountable. I was tired of using Excel sheets all over the place. It was just like, no, I need to streamline the process of when I am reaching out to new prospects, when I'm having new conversations. So I said, you know what? Let me build a tool. Let me actually build a tool. And also, the reason why I said to myself, let me build a tool on Claude is because I actually purchased a tally chart system on online. I think it was like $15. So I paid for it not before I even had Claude, right? And then it was only after when I realized, wait, I could have built this myself. And that's when I was like, wait, there's so many other things that I need to build myself. But this is one of the most recent ones that I built. So I'm just going to go through the actual process of what it looks like really and truly. So if I put a name, I'm going to put John. Let me just put John. John. So I'm going to say start tracking. So I've set it so it saves in the browser only and it resets anytime you go in the settings section. So if I say start tracking, so what I've done, if I go to the dashboard first, so I've set the dashboard up, right? So then every time you update the tally chart, which I'll show you shortly, it will let you know every single week whether you are on target, things to watch for, any actions needed, and then it will just show you the data overall. So then I done it based on LinkedIn. As you know, I'm very, very heavy on these LinkedIn streets. I'm always doing outreach on LinkedIn. So I said I want this one to be more based on my LinkedIn activity. So in terms of the data points that I felt were most important for me to keep in mind, it was the connection request sent, right? Connections accepted. And then based on that, you get the actual acceptance rate based on those who I've connected with and those who actually accept my connection request. And then through that, that's the LinkedIn connection activity. And as you scroll down, we see the sales funnel activity, which is an important one as well. So it looks at the core funnel metrics. So it looks at the initial messages sent. So then what I've done using Claude, all this was on Claude, literally. I'll let you in on a secret, right? Please copy me, steal my system, strategies, whatever. Whatever it is I can do to help you, do it. But ultimately, I have Whisperflow. I spoke into Whisperflow, transcribed the whole process, explained exactly what I wanted it to look like and what I wanted it to do. And I plugged in all the actual data points of the calculations of how you are able to get the actual percentages. I put all that stuff in, and this is what I got. Obviously, I had to make a couple additional tweaks to then add additional layers to the actual tool. But it's been fantastic for me so far. But I digress. So with the initial messages sent, so what I wanted to do, because I do messages via those who I've connected with on a first connection basis, but then also InMail. I also incorporate aspects of InMail. So I got the message type breakdown on there. I also have the replies received, the conversations actually started, the qualified ICP conversations, right? And then also, because as you know, my sort of process is split in two. I have the clarity call and then followed by the sales call. So only through the clarity call would I know that if you are qualified or if you feel like you would like to work with me, where you move on to the second call. So I break it down into two parts. So then that's the clarity calls booked, which I mark as well. The clarity calls attended, the sales calls booked, and the client closed, right? And then for the reference activity, which is context only, so I don't include it within the actual data points of the conversion rates, but what I do, I keep it there for reference because it allows me to then keep track of other additional things that can align with the process of generating leads, right? So that's things like follow-ups. So how many times have I followed up with a potential prospect, right? If they haven't messaged me back, or if I feel like they've ghosted me, how often am I doing those follow-ups? And then also the comments. How often do I comment? To be fair, I'll be honest, I don't comment as much, as I usually spend a lot more time trying to create more conversations with people rather than kind of just putting a comment down, hoping that someone who aligns with what I'm working towards sees my content and actually wants to engage with me following that, right? And then also the call booking attempts. So with that, it's a daily breakdown. So I've done it literally from Monday to Sunday. And based on that, I have my target section here, right? I got my target section and I have all the metrics here. And I have a section where I can add my weekly notes. Like, honestly, this is crazy. The way I managed to put this together. So anyway, you've seen the dashboard. So if I go on the tally now, as you know, today is Friday today as I'm recording. But then these are all the metrics that I spoke to you about, right? And what you can do is you can add to it as much as you want. And I may tweak it where I can actually include the number directly in there. But what I've done so far is literally just you clicking the button. So you can add to it, minus it. So let's say for argument's sake, let me just click a few buttons for context. So let's say I've done 10 connection requests sent today. And then let's say 5 of them accepted. And then regarding the initial messages sent, I can say, you know what, I sent 3 on InMail and I sent, let's say 7 on first connection basis. So based on that, I can say, you know what, 2 people replied back to me. I had 1 conversation started based on those 2. One of them actually was a qualified ICP. And based on that, one of them booked the clarity call. They attended. The sales call was booked. And as a result, the client is closed, right? So you can see that process here. And then just for measure, I'll just say 3 follow-ups, 2 comments, and 2. Actually, no, let me do 0 because then that would have been 1 based on that. So you see what I mean, right? So the reason why I wanted to do that is so I can go back and actually show you the dashboard. So as you can see with the dashboard now, it says 6 on target, 2 to watch, and 0 action needed. And that is based on the conversion rate data that I've shared with Claude that will then let me know what is the priority fix. So what is the weakest funnel stage? So based on the information I gave it, it said that my weakest funnel stage is the reply rate at 20%. And it knows that because it knows that the target rate that it needs to be is between 30 to 40%. So based on what it means, it says your outreach is not resonating. And what you need to fix is you need to improve your targeting. You need to make messages more relevant and strengthen your profile positioning. So anytime I'm going through the process and I'm adding in the numbers, I can look at the actual priority fix to see if it's actually something that I can fix in real time, right? And then based on what I showed you already, it gives you the connection acceptance rate, which is 50%. So yeah, that's what. And then also, as I showed you with the conversion rate summary, it gives you the full summary below. It gives you literally the full summary below. And then what is also quite useful is that when you go in the conversion rate section, it gives you all that information that you need, right? So then what I think is pretty cool is that what I also included was the idea that you can select a day and update your daily count. So I've done mine from Monday to Sunday. So you can even go back on some days and it will say that you're editing previous days, right? So it's just letting you know to make sure that it's intentional with you being able to get the actual numbers that are required. And then if I go on the weekly review, every single week, I can include any bits for my own sort of context. I can say what worked this week. I can say what needs improving. I can say the follow-ups due next week in terms of people that I need to follow up with, the any particular notes, and then a priority fix for next week. So I can look at something that be like, you know what, I know that the reply rate was a sort of thing that I need to fix. So I can look into that for the following week. And then what I've done is that you can include all the weeks. So I've done mine up until the week commencing the 28th of December, but then I can just continue to update it. And then based on that, I can then export all of the data. I can export all of the data. And then if you export the data alongside the percentages, then you can actually incorporate everything back into AI to then pick out on those points where you can improve. And it will tell you how you are able to improve based on what you share with it. And then lastly, just the settings section. So what you can do, so you can reset the actual counter, the tally count based on that. And then what I've done for the optional activity blocks, I've basically set it so I can remove the follow-ups, the comments, and the call booking attempts. So it doesn't need to be on the screen if you don't want to use it. I kept all the other ones because they align more so with the conversion rate aspects of looking at the percentages, and the data and the numbers, as you know, on this channel is incredibly important. So with that, I've also included definitions of what these core metrics mean for me, right? So as I can go through this, I can see exactly what all these things mean in reference to my outreach. And then I can look at the conversion rate thresholds that I have developed based on what will be considered green, what would be considered amber, and what will be considered red, right? So then that's it. And I got the tracked weeks based on that, based on the week that we're currently at. And then that is it. And then what I've done here, so if you click on there, it takes you back to the dashboard section, and then you can see everything back again. And yeah, honestly, I just made it on Claude. And from there, I was like, I need to make some more tools. I was saying to myself, I need to make some more tools. But that's it for this video. I just really hope that you found it quite interesting. You found it quite useful. And comment below. Let me know if you are interested in giving it a spin as well, and then giving me some additional sort of feedback. I would always appreciate the feedback as well. But ultimately, the reason why I wanted to record this and share with you is because we are in the position where we are able to build these tools just based on the idea that we have. If we have an idea, if we have something that we deem as something that is, you know, a issue within the business aspects of things, or something that we know that we can improve, or we can streamline, or we can upgrade, or we can make it better, it can all be done by using these tools like Claude, right? And for context as well, just for any users who may not be familiar with the actual process of things, a lot of the time I will use both of them interchangeably. So I will prompt and present the actual idea based on what I'm wanting to do on ChatGPT, for example. And then I will move all the information over to Claude. So it's just a process that I have picked up as something that has been quite useful and beneficial for me to do. So with that in mind, there's different ways that you can do it, right? And I'm more than happy to do more videos on this if you feel like this is something that is of interest and something that could be beneficial for you. But ultimately, anything that you're thinking to do, there is no excuse anymore as to why you can't build it yourself using these tools, right? And the more that we continue to do this, and the more that we begin to then establish how we are able to enhance our brand through the aspects of AI, right? And, you know, I've done countless videos talking about the importance of your brand, right? And the importance of why you need to incorporate your brand in a sea of sameness. But I assure you, when you start to incorporate AI for tools and aspects of your business that align specifically with you and your brand, it will only allow you to continue to develop more assets that are something that will then allow you to stand out in a sea of sameness as well. So I hope that this is useful. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more videos of me building additional sort of tools for my brand and my business, and I'll be more than happy to do some videos, because I was quite gobsmacked when I was able to produce this quality of tool, this quality that has allowed me to actually be more accountable for myself in the process of outreach as well, and then just to have something that is well put together and something that I can have in real time as I continue to journal and document the process of everything. So on that note, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself.